All right, we are back with another Pick'em video. It is Wednesday, March 5th in the NBA. We have an 8-game slate going on, and I've got 3 plays I want to walk through during this video. I also have a plus money play that's going to be more of a lean, but something I'm definitely looking into. Some guys getting some minutes, ton of injuries like always, and that's just the name of the game for the NBA right now. We're going to go over the recap of yesterday's picks. We had some good reads over there. Then we're going to go over the injury news for today, any teams on a back-to-back, and then we'll hop into some plays. So if that sounds cool, definitely go ahead and leave the video a like, comment something down below, and of course, subscribe if you are new. Let's get into it. All right, so going into the recap of yesterday's video, we talked about Steph Curry over his assists. He dominated that line. He ended up with 9 assists over that 5.5 easy. Donovan Mitchell over 25.5 points. He ended up having an easy cash too. That was a blowout situation, but he had 28 points in that one. And then Damian Lillard again ends up ruining the sweep. This happened a few days ago, maybe like a week ago at this point, maybe even 2 weeks ago at this point, where he avoided our sweep. We had good reads all over the board. Giannis Antetokounmpo over his 6.5 assists for plus money was a lean. He ended up getting 10 of those things, had a triple-double. And again, just the correlation's crazy in terms of the hit rate, but the 2 times we've gone to it, Damian Lillard over the 3-pointers and Giannis over the assists. Giannis comes through for us, but Dame ends up coming up short. So end up being a 2-in-1 day. If you had the plus money attack on Giannis' assists, that would be a cash for you as well. So good reads on the day yesterday. Going to try to replicate that, maybe even better for today, try to get that 3-0 sweep. And I'm definitely liking the plays that we're going to go over for today. So going right into the back-to-back news, I think there's 4 teams on a back-to-back right here. The Cavaliers, the Clippers, the Bucks, and the Timberwolves. Some guys I might roll the dice on, see if they're, like Julius Randles of the world, maybe even Giannis of the world, just guys that have been injured and might not play in this back-to-back. I think Giannis is good to go, but more Julius Randle's got the guy I'm kind of looking at, might not play today. Did have an extended absence, so he could be some guy that's not playing today. I always like to point out the back-to-backs just because there's guys that might be not on the injury report right now. They go through warm-ups, and they're like, it's a back-to-back set. We're just going to rest this guy. So just keep that in mind. Another thing for the Cavaliers, they are on a back-to-back, but the guy we're going to be attacking is going to be a guy that didn't play yesterday, so should be all rested and ready to go for today's pick. So let's talk about the injury news, then we'll hop into those plays. All right, so jumping into RotoWire, going to breeze through this injury news. We got Portland versus Boston. Jeremy Grant is pretty much always a game time decision. We'll see if he goes, but no Rob Will, no Ayton for that team. We've seen this a bunch of times, so Klingan will get as much time as he can probably handle, projected for 26 minutes here. And then Boston's got some injury news. They're on a back-to-back. This is the first half of it, so I would not be surprised at all if Jaylen Brown or Tatum sits. I think Jaylen Brown sat a little bit ago, so he could be the guy that maybe gets a night off. Maybe it's Tatum's turn. I don't know. We'll see what happens there. Maybe they both play. Just game time decisions for both those guys. Pritchard and White both on the injury report too, but they are probable tags. And then Drew Holiday and Porzingis doubtful tags here. Don't expect to see them today. I don't know what's with Porzingis. He's got like the worst illness in the world. I feel like he's missed the past week and a half of NBA action with some sort of illness. So hopefully he gets better soon. For the Miami Heat and the Cleveland Cavaliers, Tyler Herro is going to be a game time decision. He got the illness tag, so that's making me see like I might want to go to a guy like Davion Mitchell or maybe some of these other guys that get more usage without Tyler Herro in the lineup, just because it seems like NBA this year, when those people get an illness tag, it's been a horrible illness. I've gotten sick a million times, like the most I've gotten sick in like my entire life throughout this year, which has been weird. So illnesses have been weird. So if he sees an illness tag, makes me want to say, maybe roll the dice and say he's not going to play this one. But as of right now, game time decision. Jaquez, Jovic, Ware, and Wiggins all out. So definitely some usage for some of these guys. But on the same time, Cleveland Cavaliers are a tough team, 12-point spread. They have no one in the injury report right now. But again, they're in a back-to-back. Something flares up. We could see someone jumping on the injury report at that point. Moving into the game of the night here, the Jazz and the Wizards. Yeah, okay. Clarkson, Collins, Kessler, Markkanen, Sexton, Springer, anyone that starts for this team is pretty much out for today. You can see the projected minutes. Filipowski is a guy I want to look at, 28 minutes. Sensabaugh also 26 minutes. It's tough to go to guys on this team. Keontae George and Collier are guys that are kind of cemented into the lineup here. Definitely some good angles for this Utah team, especially going up against a weak defense. So you can see a lot of guys going over their normal lines, even though the hit rates on those are going to look horrible. But I will say a lot of their lines are already pretty juiced up. For the Wizards side of things, no Sadiq Bey, Brogdon, Poole still out for this team. Been a harder team to read with the new addition of Middleton and Marcus Smart. Bilal Coulibaly's a guy that I always want to go to in this instance, but he kind of crapped the bed last time we went to him. Didn't do much of anything. So tough read for the Wizards now with the new additions to the team. Then for the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Charlotte Hornets, Julius Randle might be the guy that I roll the dice on. I'm potentially sitting for today. Him and maybe Tyler Herro are the guys that I project to sit. just with the back-to-back news. And then again for Tyler Hero with the illness. Julius Randle missed like a month of action, has played 2 games back, but now he's seeing his first back-to-back set. Would not be surprised at all if he goes out and sits this game. No Gobert, no Conley. I think Jane McDaniels is going to get a huge boost here, especially if Randle does sit. Projected for 38 minutes along with Naz Reid on this one. And then we move into the Charlotte side of things. Taj Gibson, Nurkic, probable tags, Okogie still out. For the Dallas and Milwaukee game, ton of injuries for Dallas. Kyrie Irving not even on the injury report because he's done for the year, done for a long time, ACL tear. PJ Washington, Derek Lively, Hardy, Gafford, Exum, Anthony Davis, ton of guys out for this team. So 10-point spread could be a blowout situation. Maybe some unders for certain guys that need some elite distributing to get them scoring. Hint, hint. That's what we're going to be looking at in terms of one of these guys here. But could be a good spot for some overs for some of these other dudes that don't rely on that. For the Milwaukee side of things, Damian Lillard, Kuzma, Giannis, all probable, should be ready to go. This is a back-to-back set for them. So if they are up by a certain amount of points, I would expect them to try to mess with their minutes to hopefully not run them into the ground. Bobby Portis still out with the suspension. Moving on to Sacramento and Denver, they're two main, for the Sacramento side of things, they're two main distributors here. Malik Monk and Domantas Sabonis both out for this game, and they're going up against a team that gives up the most assists. Malik Monk just got ruled out, so I don't have a play officially in here, but definitely some guys that are in a good spot to grab some assists without their main 2 distributors going up against the Denver Nuggets who give up a ton of assists. On the Denver side of things, Aaron Gordon, Jokic game time decisions, a couple other guys on the bench, Konkar, Najee, Peyton Watson, all game time decisions as well. So you guys see what's happening with them. And then Strother got hurt a few games ago, I think. OKC and Memphis, we got Caruso and Mitchell out for this team. Isaiah Joe, game time decision, relatively healthy team for OKC. Memphis, we got John Morant, Santi Aldama, both game time decisions, along with Scottie Pippen Jr. and Konkar. So definitely some injury tags here, especially with Jaren Jackson Jr. being out. That was like the day that everyone got injured in the NBA. I think Strother got hurt, Jaren Jackson Jr. got hurt, Kyrie got hurt that same day. He's going to be out for the next few weeks. So definitely some boosts for some of these guys. It's just a tough matchup going against OKC. Then we got Detroit and the Clippers to round it out. For Detroit side of things, no Tobias Harris, no Ivy. Those are the main usage guys on this team, so none of them are going to be playing. In terms of projected minutes, you can see any sort of boost for certain guys, and you can actually go to on off-court stats. Does anyone get like a huge boost? Cade Dern getting a little bit more boost. Malik Beasley, always a good guy to go to. Very, very consistent. And then the Clipper side of things, no Kawhi, no Norman Powell. So a ton of injuries in today's slate. Like we continue to see, Ben Simmons and Derek Jones Jr. going to be game time decisions in terms of on-off-court stats for Powell and Kawhi being out. Harden, huge usage boost. Drew Eubanks, weird usage boost, but not too many minutes. And then Bogdanovich has been playing pretty well going into that starting lineup. So that's the injury news. Like always, it takes a little bit to get through because there's so many, but it does give us some angles, especially these guys that are game time decisions, and I might think they might sit. I think that gives us a good angle to attack some of these plays. All right, so moving into PropsMadness is the tool I use every single video, every single day when I do my research. It's super powerful, and you can actually test it out for a free week if you're watching this video and you're like, I definitely want to check that thing out. Use my link in the description down below, and also use code RICH. When you do that, you'll get that free week. You also get 25% off your first month or your first year, and yes, they have WNBA, so we might be looking at like Brianna Stewart's post-up defense going up against certain teams, and that's just what it does. Player type analysis. It's not just, hey, this team gives up a lot of points, maybe attack the guy's points. It's how does this guy score the ball typically, and how does that defense rank in terms of their opponent. So like transition defense for Bilal Coulibaly, he's going up against a team that allows dead last, 30th ranked in terms of transition defense. It's nice and green for you to easily see, hey, that's looking pretty good. Similar types of players they also have, so other guys with similar player type analysis, you can see similar players and how they've performed against their lines. So pretty sweet. You're going to see it. I'll let the video do the talking for me, but again, definitely check out the link in the description. Use code RICH when signing up. You're also going to get that free week and then the 25% off your first month or first year. Pretty cool gig right there. So let's go into our first play. It's actually going to be a Dallas Mavericks player, and it's going to be an under for Klay Thompson. Now, his line's at 16.5. Some books have it 17.5. PrizePicks had this at 17 when I played. It looks like it's 16.5. I don't mind that, but looks like it's pretty juiced on the under now. A bunch of books had this at 17.5. Some books had this at 17. Looks like it's trending on the downward slope here. I don't mind, throwing in maybe rebounds or something if you want to get to like a points and rebounds line or something like that. I just don't think Klay's in a good spot to score the ball today, mostly because he doesn't have an elite distributor to set him up. So just simply looking at games without Luka and Kyrie in the lineup. He's only gone over this in 2 of 8 games. So he did have a good game against the Clippers, did have a good game against the Nuggets, but relatively consistency staying on the under here. So even just taking that out of the equation, the matchup here for him isn't amazing. The spot up defense ranked 9th for this Bucks team. They should be relatively healthy. Seems like all these guys are probable and ready to go. It is a back-to-back, but the Bucks look healthy and ready to go. The spot up defense, they're ranked in 9th in that regard. So even just taking away the Kyrie and the Luka aspect of this and going to the spot up shooting will knock out those really bad spot up defenses. The worst 10 teams. So we look at 1 to 20. Now this is a 24% hit rate. You add on the fact that there's no Luka, there's no Kyrie. Yeah, maybe Spencer Dinwiddie's out there diamond to him, but still he's got to deal with this good spot up defense, and he's staying under this very, very much consistently. Now, you do have to point out that there's a bunch of other injuries. No Daniel Gafford, no PJ Washington, even Lively, Hardy. There's a ton of guys out, so someone's got to score the ball. But at this point in the season, with all these injuries piling up, I don't think you want to risk anything with Klay Thompson potentially adding to that injury report when you're really almost looking forward to next year with AD. Hopefully Kyrie coming back at some point next year, and hopefully trying to compete for a championship because you traded Luka for this team. What you got going on? If you're a Mavs fan, you might be ripping your hair out. So Klay definitely not in a good spot to score the ball. If you find this is 17.5, 16.5, 15.5, wherever you want to play it, I do like the under spot. We talked about the spot up defense for the Bucks, but really just looking even more into it, there's no Luka, there's no Kyrie for an elite ball handler to set him up. Maybe Spencer Dinwiddie comes out and looks like a prime John Stockton, diming the ball to him. But I don't expect that. If he does, then hats off to him. But at the same time, we like to see this hit rate. You can point to away games as well. This is an away game. It's an 11-point spread. Maybe loses some minutes in a blowout situation. Doesn't shoot the ball as well at home, especially without Luka and Kyrie in the lineup. And then the last thing I'll point out for this one is his 3-point line. That's what's going to carry this points line in general. A lot of books favoring this under pretty heavily, plus money on the over 3-pointers line. Pretty much every book you find it. If he's not going to hit 4 threes, if he's going to hit 3 or less threes, we can see what this chart looks like with that. I'm actually curious here. When he doesn't hit that many threes, the books are expecting 3 or less based on their odds. When he does that, he's only over this in 10% of games. If you look at the entire season, he's only over this in 9% of games. So really liking Klay Thompson on the under. You can see a lot of these games, he's not even really getting close. Literally 3 games he's gone over this with hitting more than 3 threes. Yes, he could go out and hit 4 threes. Maybe that's it. Still stays under this line. I just don't expect him to be able to get set up as well as he usually does. He's got to get a difficult matchup. And yeah, I'm liking this spot. Not a whole lot of guys to score in this team, but at the same time, Klay needs that elite, distributor to get him in the spots. Not a very good creator for himself at this point in his career. So Klay Thompson, first play on the under, 16.5 points. Really anything, 15.5, 17.5, wherever you find it. That's going to be the first play. Moving to the next play here, it's going to be Jaden McDaniels. I'm going to be looking at his PRA, 23.5, I guess, on some books, but most books have this at 22.5, so that's where I'm going to be looking at it. 22.5, he's been really consistent. He's one of the bright spots for this team, a team that's struggled a little bit more than they thought they would this season, a team that's now piling up some injuries. Julius Randle missed a whole month of time. Gobert's out for this one. Mike Conley's out of this one. And that's why I like the rebounds and assists. He's been scoring really efficiently. He can definitely grab 10-plus rebounds. He can chip in with 6, 7 assists sometimes. And with Mike Conley out, that's more assist potential. With Rudy Gobert out, that's more rebound potential. And then Julius Randle being a game-time decision, coming off a month injury where he's now played 2 games, but now this is the first back-to-back set. If I had to guess, I'd say maybe Randle doesn't suit up for this one, which we're going to get a huge advantage if he does not. Even if he does play, I don't mind this play. Obviously, I like it more if Randle ends up sitting. But 22.5 PRA. First, I want to talk about his minutes. He's projected for 38. I just checked. So even just going like 40 or 34 to 42, let's say, over this in 58% of games. Love to see that. And we could say even more from him if this is going to stay close. It is an 8-point spread against the Hornets, but hopefully they can keep this thing close. And then you look at the matchup here in terms of scoring. 38% of his shots come from spot up, or scoring comes from spot up, and they're pretty good at that. Eighth in terms of defending the spot up shooters. The only thing I do like here is it doesn't affect him all too much. If you go ahead and take away the bottom 10 teams in terms of defending the spot up, it's actually a 62% hit rate on this PRA. So it actually doesn't affect him all too much when teams are really good at that spot up. And I think that's because he doesn't shoot a ton of threes, 19% above the break, 9% and 7% in the corners. He's usually good for 1 or 2 threes during the game. So that's 3 points of this spot up right here, and then maybe a mid-range to get to that 5 points. Otherwise, he's in transition, he's getting free throws, he's hitting baskets at the rim, so the spot up doesn't affect him all too much. So I do like to see that, even though the matchup doesn't look amazing. Other ways he's going to score is the way he's going to get most of his points, I think, in a matchup like this. So Jaden McDaniels been very, very consistent. The next thing I want to look at is, he's potentially not playing with Julius Randle in this lineup. Julius Randle isn't playing this lineup over this in 76.9% of games. So obviously love to see that. I forgot to put the minutes back into the equation here. We want to see games he's seen 34 plus minutes because he's getting a ton of time in the court. Now we take Julius Randle out of the lineup. How about an 81.8% hit rate in that amount of time? Would love to see Randle not play, but even in games without Gobert, he's still over this in 6 of 7 games. So loving to see what we're getting from Jaden McDaniels. He's been very consistent. He's been able to score the ball. I don't think that's going to go away. He's been able to rebound the ball. He's been able to assist the ball, and especially if we get Julius Randle in this lineup, that's going to be a huge boost to this guy. This thing is going to fly up to 24, 25, maybe even 26.5 PRA, and he's going to get a whole lot of usage in this game. So hopefully it stays close, 8-point spread. Again, any blowout can happen. Maybe he loses some minutes, but I'm projecting 34 to 42. His projected line is 38, so I think this is a pretty good sample size. And again, if we get no Gobert, loving to see the hit rate here. If we get no Julius Randle, obviously loving to see the hit rate here. And again, I don't think Julius Randle is going to play. So that's what I'm looking at. So the way they score the ball, you can see 60% of players that score similarly to Jaden McDaniels has been able to go over this line. So I love to see that as well. And yeah, I'm just hoping Jaden McDaniels is going to get a ton of time in the court. Just got to put the ball in the basket, grab some boards, throw in some dimes without Mike Conley there. Loving this play. And then the last thing I will add is just the other reason I wanted to go to the assists and rebounds, not only because Gobert's out, not only because Mike Conley's out. The way this Hornets team gives up assists, similar types of players that get assists, right? I guess this is just positionally. You can see 33 come at the basket for him, 31 come above the break threes. 80% of players in the similar position or similar types of players are over this line in terms of their assists. And then rebounds, it's also 60%. So I definitely don't mind the points, the points potential, the assist potential, the rebounds potential, all of it. I'm really liking this one. Move along to our last official pick here. It's going to be Evan Mobley for the Cleveland Cavaliers going up against the Miami Heat. Now, he had a really good game against these guys last time. He had 22 points and 15 rebounds. That was a game without Darius Garland. And then the other time he played him, he had 4 points in 12 minutes because he got injured and didn't end up playing the rest of that game. Now, the matchup here is not amazing on paper, but I just like what Mobley's been doing. He's also the only guy that's going to be rested in this one. Didn't play yesterday due to rest, not doing an injury, so he should be ready to go. And I actually looked at games he's playing with 2 days rest. Maybe I'm looking a little too far into it, but games with exactly 2 days rest, he's over this in 7 of 8 games so far this year. So loving Mobley in this spot. Potentially a guy pops up in the injury report and doesn't play this one. But really, I just want to look at games he's playing this many minutes. He's projected for 31 minutes. Let's go to 28 to 34 minutes, and we're going to get a 62% hit rate on this line. Loving to see that, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned this. 26.5 is the points and rebounds line that I'm looking at. And then again, you could potentially see some guys popping up on the injury report for the Cavs, but even with all these guys in the lineup, Hunter even added to the equation here. He's over this in all 4 games with all these guys healthy and playing this much time. So really love what I'm seeing from Evan Mobley lately. He's been super consistent. You can just see in his graph here, but now he's well rested. He's out playing a team that he's already dominated, 22 points against them, 15 boards last time they met. Also played them earlier on in the year in December, but he only played 12 minutes and got injured. Didn't end up playing the rest of that game. So I'm loving Mobley in this one. He's going to be really consistent. That's what we've been seeing from him. That's what we've been coming to expect from Mobley. And didn't play yesterday. Well rested and ready to go. I've said that 5 times. But yeah, I just like the consistency that I'm seeing from here. I don't mind the matchup. Cutting is his number one way of scoring the ball. It's hard to differentiate between a cut. There's certain types of things. So there's not a bunch of information on that. But the other 2 ways he scores the ball, transition, free throws. Yes, they're tough situations, but I do think he's going to be able to do some damage at the rim because of the injuries to the Miami Heat side of things. No Kel'el Ware down there. That means we're going to get Kevin Love potentially guarding Evan Mobley. Bam Adebayo probably switching between Mobley and Jared Allen, but Bam can't play the entire game. So Mobley might be able to cook against some of these reserves, maybe Kyle Anderson getting some center rotation or power forward rotation for this team. I think Evan Mobley's in a really good spot here to cook down low, maybe knock down a 3 for us, grab a whole bunch of rebounds, and get over this 26.5 line, hopefully with ease. But even if he creeps over, that works too. So if you've made it this far in the video, definitely go ahead and leave the video a like, comment something down below, subscribe if you are new, all those good things. I do have 2 leans I want to go to into this one as well. Going to the Kings, I haven't looked at this one too much, but DeMar DeRozan's rebounds and assists was something I wanted to look into just because we got no Malik Monk, we got no Domantas Sabonis for this team as well, and he's been pretty good ever since Zach LaVine came to town, even with some of these guys playing. So add Zach LaVine to this team, a guy that's got pretty good chemistry with. He's been able to assist the ball. He's been able to rebound the ball pretty well and getting over this line 72% of the time. So take out Sabonis out of the equation, take out Malik Monk out of the equation, 8.5 rebounds and assists, looking pretty good against a team that gives up not a ton of rebounds, but does give up a ton of assists. So maybe even just assists could be the way to go to this at 4.5. The only problem is it's a little bit juiced. So first lean right there, and then a plus money lean I was looking at is at this Jazz team. Wanted to look at Filipowski, our guy Kyle, the starting center for this team without a lot of these guys going on. It's actually going to be his assist line here. If you want to look at games that he's playing without Markkanen, without John Collins, without Walker Kessler, these are all centers on the team. He's over this in 4 of 6 games, and you can see these other 2 games, he only played 11 minutes and 22 minutes. You expect for 28 minutes. So if you want to go and see, 22 plus minutes, he's over in 3 straight games. Even if you want to count that other game, how many minutes did he play in that one? Played 20 minutes in both of these. So pretty much over in 4 or 5 games without these guys on the court. Is that, a fluke? I don't know, but he's going to get a lot of time on the floor. 3.5 for plus money. I don't mind rolling the dice in that. Maybe even go up to 5 if you want to get even more plus money. You can see the way he assists the ball at the rim and in the mid-range most of the time. They're weak defensively to that. This is a Wizards team, so he's going up against a team that allows a ton of assists. It's horrible defensively. You can pretty much accidentally get an assist against this team. So getting 4 assists, I don't mind this, especially with all the centers on this team, the big men on this team being injured. He's going to get a ton of time on the floor. We've seen him do this consistently. Now he's got almost a textbook matchup to do this. I don't mind this plus money lean at all. So that's going to do it for this one. We are going to do a quick recap, and then we're also going to tell you guys to check out the links in the description down below. If you want access to all my plays and just a fun community where we got a bunch of like-minded people in here talking sports, talking props, talking plays, and it is a premium Discord, so it does weed out some of those people that are just annoyingly asking for money or negative about everything. We got a really solid group. It's not negative at all. A lot of positivity. Everyone knows what's going on in there. We go to a guy, we can put a bunch of research into him, and the guy twists his ankle early into the game, or it's a blowout situation. That stuff can happen. Maybe shoots 2 of 25 from the field or something crazy. We all know that stuff can happen. It's about making the good reads. Attacking EV is a big spot, especially for these DFS platforms. But yeah, just digging into the research, and we got a bunch of really cool people in here, and it's a lot of fun. We're laughing half the time we're in here. Seasoned chefs are in here too. They got their own plays, so definitely check us out. You can use the link in the description to do so. You get access to all my plays, which are all going to be right in here, and then you get access to the seasoned chefs. You can share your own slips, and of course the chat. It's always fun to talk to like-minded people that enjoy sports as much as you do and are throwing down money together. So definitely check that out. Links in the description down below. Plenty of different ways to get in for free. Pretty much signing up for any of these DFS platforms using my code, which is specifically pointed out in the description down below. If you do use my code, get a screenshot of the code in use and then your first deposit. Send me a screenshot or something on general chat, or hit me up in a DM if you want to do that, and I'll go ahead and get you that free month pretty quickly, probably that day. And that's how you do it. And you get plenty of free months. I think it's up to 7 free months at this point. And then even after that, it's one of the cheapest Discord communities in the industry for sure. So the recap here, we got Evan Mobley over 26.5 points and rebounds. Jaden McDaniels over 22.5 PRA. We got Klay Thompson under 17 points. This is starting to trend downward. I think we looked at it 16.5. I would even play it at 15.5 to be totally honest. Then some leans we talked about. DeMar DeRozan over the 8.5 rebounds and assists, and then Filipowski over 3.5 assists for some plus money. If you want to throw in his rebounds too, he should get a ton of time in the court. He's going to be the only big man, and he's playing the Wizards. I don't mind the rebounds and assists either. So that's going to do it for me in this one. Thanks for watching. Good luck with all your bets. Sorry this one's coming out a little bit later. I feel like I've been doing that lately, but every time I look at the board the night before, there's so many injuries that I can't, consciously go to a play that I'm liking, not knowing who's going to play, or even if the player I'm looking at is going to play. So it's a little bit difficult at this time. I don't think this is going to be the norm. I'm going to try to get them out at a normal time. But I know a lot of people still watch it whenever it comes out. But in terms of scheduling, it's probably better to be on a better schedule. So I'll be better at that, hopefully. But again, thanks for watching. Good luck with all your bets. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.